This is the story of how I made $650 since the last episode of Flipping PCs until I can buy my wife a pool. This is episode number 3, and we're going to take you along the journey of how we sold 3 PCs totaling in $650 in profit. And I saved the best PC story for last. In the last couple episodes, we talked about how we were still trying to sell this all-white gaming PC that had a Ryzen 7 3800X, 32 gigs of RAM, and a spray-painted RX 6600. It had been sitting on the shelf for a while, but we finally got a buyer for it. We updated the pictures, lowered the price a little bit, and we got a hit. We actually made $300 off this PC. This PC was a great moneymaker for me for one very specific reason. When you flip PCs as long as I have at this point in time, and as many others have on YouTube, you start to acquire some parts, and you acquire people reaching out to you wanting to upgrade their systems or build new systems, and sometimes those people will just give you their old parts or haggle and work out a deal to where you can take their old parts and, have them for yourself. So I had a customer back a few months ago that let me have their Ryzen 7 3800X, so I didn't have to pay anything for that CPU. He didn't want to deal with selling it, so he just gave it to me. So that helps our profit margins out on this PC a lot. The guy that I sold this PC to was pretty excited, but he lived almost 2 hours away from me, so we agreed to meet in the middle somewhere. So we met at a town I was familiar with that had a bank that is actually one of the banks in the chain that I use, and so we had to drive about 45 minutes to go deliver the PC. And here's how that went. Now, silly me forgot to actually turn the microphone on to, record the interaction with the young man, but he was super excited for the PC, and best of all, we got that money. Now, because that bank was the one that I actually used, I went ahead and put the money in the bank so that I could, have it in there safe. So here's the breakdown of the list of the parts, and the reason we were able to make $300 is because of the CPU that I told you about earlier. So we made $216 in our last couple episodes, $300 plus $216 gives us a total of $516 so far for our PC. But again, we sold 3 PCs, that was the first one. Now, PC number 2 that we sold actually started because of PC number 1. When you have your PC listings up there, sometimes people will reach out to you because the PC that you have listed is not in the budget that they want to spend, or they want to have like a more expensive PC or a cheaper PC, so they send a message, and that's exactly what I had with this next customer. They wanted a PC that was less than $700, and of course, I'm going to help them out. We had already picked up a Ryzen 5 5500 and a motherboard in a previous episode of this PC flipping series. So we decided to use that and a GTX 1070 Ti. I've had it laying around for probably a couple of months, and I never used it for anything, so I thought it would be the perfect fit. This guy wanted to pick it up in a very short amount of time, so we got the rest of the parts from Amazon to fill in the rest of the build. The RAM, the storage, power supply, that sort of thing. And we put together the PC, and it looked pretty solid. He was not super worried about looks. He didn't really care about RGB, so we just made everything, solid, stealthy in a way. But he was good with the build, he was good with the price, and he was willing to drive over an hour to meet me at where I typically meet people for PC flips as much as I can, and that's at my Hoggly Woggly. All right, we're going to meet the guy to get rid of this Ryzen 5 5500 1070 Ti PC. We're getting $650 for it. Let's go. Hey guys, how are you? It's over here on this side if you want to come look at it. I like to box everything up. So, we can take it out of the box and you can look at it if you want. If you want to take it out, we can. Now, I had to cut the recording short for that particular interaction because they wanted to use Cash App and they couldn't find my username on there, so I had to cut my phone recording, which is what I use when I go out on the road to record, and we got the money for Cash App. But, here's the proof. We got that Cash App money, and $650 is what we got, which gave us a total, if you look here at the price breakdown, once again, we have it here on the side, it gave us a net total of $200 profit for that PC. That brings our total up to $716 so far for the pool, so we're getting closer and closer to that first $1,000, and it actually seems like it could be a real possibility by next summer. But that's not all. We have one more PC that we sold, and it's probably the best story of all. So back during Christmas, I built a PC locally for a guy's son, and that son has absolutely loved the PC so much that the daughter has been bugging the dad about getting a PC of her own. So the dad finally reached out to me and wanted a PC for his daughter, and he wanted to stay in the $500 to $600 range. So we were going to do our best to kind of stay in the middle of that, but I didn't have any parts on hand. So that's why the story of hunting PC parts to me is so much fun, and that's why I love watching these other guys like Elijah's Lab, where I got the idea for this series from. Finding PC parts and deals, man, it makes my day. So any PC in that $500 to $550 price range, in order for me to make money and for them to be happy, I typically start with a Ryzen 5 3600. That's just the easiest thing. It's a go-to CPU, and it's, that's the kind of deals that I look for. Typically, I get that from AliExpress. But AliExpress, it takes a while to get here, and this guy wanted the PC, relatively soon, so I couldn't just go to AliExpress and wait 3 weeks or 2 weeks and get a Ryzen 5 3600. So I went to eBay, and with some due diligence and some patience, not much patience, because I don't have a lot of that, but I found a CPU Ryzen 5 3600 with a stock cooler for only like $70, $75. I'll put a screenshot up here while I'm talking of what the actual price was. So now I had the CPU, I wanted to try to find a motherboard that was a reasonably priced motherboard. And at the time, eBay didn't have any B550s that were in the price range that I actually wanted, because I needed to keep the motherboard around that $60-ish mark in order to make money and stay in the budget. So I decided to check Amazon because, it's been a while since I looked for B450 boards, and I thought maybe there's a B450 that's been marked down or on sale or something. And luckily, I did find a budget B450 board for only around $60. Now, it is a cheap board. It's only got 2 RAM slots. It doesn't have an RGB header, and it's only got like 1 spot for an SSD. I think it was what it was. So it wasn't the best board in the world, but it would play games, and they could upgrade to a 5600 if they wanted to later down the line for a little bit more FPS. And since the daughter was only going to be playing like esports games, I felt very comfortable sticking with this sort of board so that we could stay in the budget that we wanted. We picked up 16 gigs of RAM, a 500 gigabyte SSD because 1 terabyte just wasn't in the budget, 600 watt power supply from a Pevia, it's the best one in the budget sector. And we had everything but the case and the graphics card. Now for the case, I was just going to go, with the Fish Tank DIY PC case that's really popular. It looks good. It doesn't take up a ton of room on a desk. And so I went to Newegg looking, and they had the old version of it, the version 1, the V1. I get confused with all the names. But they had the old version that didn't have the good RGB fans on it. But the only problem was it was in that weird greenish teal color. So I sent the, picture of the case to the dad, and I was like, hey, I can get this case. It is a little different though. If you would rather have, a black or white one, that's fine. I'll find one. But I just wanted to offer this to you. And it was on sale for only $48. And the guy was like, oh, my daughter would love that. So that's what we got for her. And then we were left with the graphics card. The graphics card, to stay in budget, needed to be around $100, and we really couldn't go over that. In order for, me to make a little bit of money and for the dad and the daughter to be happy with the performance, because I don't want to sell anything that doesn't perform well. So I looked for my normal go-tos, 1660 Super or 1070 Ti. 5700 XT would be nice, but it's a little over the budget that we're looking for. Even the regular 5700 is a little out of budget here. I might could have squeezed it in, but 1660 Super, that was my goal. And lo and behold, I got really lucky, and this guy just listed one on Facebook Marketplace, and he only wanted $80 for it. I mean, I didn't even offer him less. I didn't try to haggle him. Those things go for $100 to $110 all the time on eBay. Sent him the offer, said, hey man, I'll go pick this up today. Well, he was an hour away. So, we took a family outing. Since the seller's over an hour away, we're gonna go pick up this part with our family and have a nice family outing and go out to eat. Let's go.
It's only been used for about 2 months. I got it from a buddy and he had used it for a few weeks. I used it for about a week, but my power supply was 2 weeks, so I just figured I'd get rid of it. So I put my old card back in there.
Okay. You said 80, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Thank y'all so much.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Thank you. You too.
Hey, let me know if there's any problems with it.
I will, man. I'm sure it'll be fine. Uh-huh.
Now that we had the 1660 Super, we were ready to rock and roll with this PC build, and I thought it turned out pretty awesome. Now, it's nothing special, you know, just all black parts for the most part, but inside this case, we did pick up an RGB controller for around $12 so that they could control the color of the fans with the little remote that come with it, which was perfect for this case. I do think the new DIY PC cases of this version, the version 2, comes with better fans because so many people had that sort of feedback for them. So I was able to message the dad and set up a meeting time to go sell the PC to him to get our profit, which I'll tell you here in just a little bit. But after I sold the PC, I felt like celebrating a little bit. So here's how that went. We finally got a message back, so we've got this PC boxed up and we're ready to go sell it. We're about 10 minutes away. Let's go. What's up, man? How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I was able to get that green case. The only way to change her lights, though, is going to be with this thingy.
Okay.
If you have any issues, something happens, just let me know.
Thank you, buddy.
No problem. Got the deal done. Got our cash in our hand. We'll go back home, see where we stand on getting the pool for the wife. But first, we're going to go get some snacks from the Hoggly Woggly. Ooh, Little Debbie's 2 for $5. All right. Oatmeal cream pies, Swiss roll cakes. Hard to beat. You don't get to be this type of figure by eating healthy, you know? And of course, I also had to pick up some lasagna noodles for the wife for Mother's Day. That's not what she's getting for Mother's Day, just FYI before y'all, you know, say something in the comments. And our gaming snacks are not complete without some chips. We're gonna get these right here. So we got some sun chips. Let's go home. I will say that I have one of the best views when it comes to going to and from most of my PC flips. I mean, look at that. It's beautiful. Now, $150 profit for this PC put our total at $650. And if we add that to the $216 that we started with, we're at $866. Very, very close to our first $1,000 towards our wife's pool. She'll be happy, and I think we can definitely get there by next summer. And I can't wait for you guys to be along the journey with me. If there's any tips or anything you would rather see, let me know what you thought about this kind of storytelling after the fact. With my full-time job and me being sick last weekend, this was kind of the best way to document all of that. So if you're invested in this series, let me know down in the comments what you would like to see, because I want to make those videos entertaining to you. And if you've missed any of the first 2 episodes, please go check out the playlist. It really helps us out. Share it with a friend. I'll see you when we've made some more money.